Silk screen prints can be produced in many ways, but there are several basic techniques. Bassler, art instructor, finishes a design that will be printed by the clay touche technique. The artist props a standard silk screen frame about 2 inches above the full-size drawing. Clay touche is simply a mixture of finely ground clay and water. If we could look directly down through the screen, we would see that the clay is being brushed on so that it duplicates the design underneath. Even a ketchup dispenser can be used to apply a steady line of clay. The soft, fuzzy edges and the brushstroke textures will be reproduced by the clay touche method. When the clay is dry, the screen is lacquered. The lacquered areas will block paint from going through the screen. Any spots that have been missed are touched up. After the lacquer is dry, the clay is scrubbed away with water. Only the areas where the clay has been removed will print through. The clay touche technique can be used to print a more detailed design over color areas previously printed with paper stencils. By using different colors, a variety of effects can be produced. A variation of clay touche is the glue touche technique. Glue touche is made with 50% brown mucilage glue, 40% water, 8% vinegar, and 2% glycerin. The glue touche is applied in the same way as the clay touche, but with this method, you can print both the background and the detail using the same screen. When the glue is dry, the background or negative area of the design is printed. Continue printing until you have as many backgrounds as you wish. The screen is then thoroughly cleaned, and when dry, it is covered with lacquer. After the lacquer dries, the glue touche is washed away with water, just as in the clay touche technique. The screen will now print the positive or detail area of the design. Only the areas where the glue touche was removed will print through onto the paper. Finally, the positive or detail is printed over the negative background print. The advantage of the glue touche technique is that you can print both the negative and the positive with the same screen and the same design. In the graphics design department of the Los Angeles County Museum, Paul Showalter and his assistant Ruth Samko often use the lacquer film technique for lettering and for very fine line designs. Lacquer film is a thin layer of lacquer on a wax backing. The lacquer film is transparent, so you can see the design underneath. The knife should cut through the lacquer layer only, leaving the waxed backing uncut. When the cutting is complete, the lacquer layer is peeled away. The areas where the lacquer film was removed will print through onto the paper, producing sharp, clean edges. The cut film is placed under the screen with the lacquer side up. A special adhering liquid attaches the lacquer film to the screen. It is applied smoothly, and any excess immediately removed with a dry piece of cotton. The wax backing is peeled away, leaving the lacquer layer attached to the screen. The film is then cleaned with water. The open areas around the film are masked with paper, and the screen is ready for printing. The original lettering is taped onto the background as a guide, and the screen is carefully lined up over it. Paul uses his hands as the hinges. The background is a photographic blow-up of an old book illustration. After the lettering is printed, additional small color areas are added using paper stencils. The finished poster covers a complete wall and advertises a special brocade exhibit at the museum. Another technique, photo silk screening, is used to reproduce most commercial art. Art Krebs, photo silk screen craftsman, and artist Emerson Terry discuss the reproduction of an original design. Using the photo silk screen method, the design will be reproduced exactly as the artist has drawn it. The art is sent to a photographer who returns a transparent positive. Paper-backed, non-sensitized photo stencil film is cut to the same size as the transparent positive. The stencil film is then sensitized by immersing it for about 3 minutes in a 2% solution of potassium dichromate. To protect the emulsion, the sensitized film is laid emulsion side down on a clean sheet of vinyl plastic and squeegeed. The film with its vinyl sheet is then placed on a vacuum table. The transparent positive is laid on top, and the edges are masked. The vacuum table holds the positive tight against the stencil film during exposure. Light burns away the exposed sections of the stencil. The film and vinyl sheet are removed and washed in hot water for several minutes. The paper backing is carefully stripped away, and the washing is continued until the image is clear. The stencil film is then placed under the screen with the emulsion up. Newspaper is used to block the screen, and it's left to dry. When the screen is dry, the vinyl plastic sheet is peeled away, leaving the emulsion stuck to the screen. To hold back the paint in the open area around the stencil, a blocking compound is used on both sides. Finally, the printing stock is registered and printed. The finished print is an exact copy of the original art. Silk screen printing can provide an interesting classroom project, hobby, or even a career. You can produce exciting art prints using imagination and silk screen techniques. Why don't you try them with your own design?